Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel. And history yet again for Real Madrid, winning their 15th Champions League title at the hands of Borussia Dortmund. A tale of two halves in many regards, but once again, a very exciting game though, and probably one of the best Champions League finals we've had in the last 5 to 6 years. It was really early on, end-to-end in a way that Dortmund just kept going at Real Madrid. Second half, Madrid came at Dortmund. And in terms of a neutral spectator, I was happy enough to see it happen. Obviously, heartbreak for one side for Dortmund, and in particular, Marco Reus, who now leaves Borussia Dortmund without a trophy, a major trophy there. Unfortunately, in tears, him and Terzic, the manager, visibly in tears, and it was a heroic type display from Dortmund. We'll get into that as we talk to the game, but they can hold their heads up high knowing they took it to Real Madrid for basically 50 minutes in that game there and were the better side across that moment in time. But as everyone was saying at half-time, as I was looking at the stats there, 8 shots to 2, I was thinking, if you don't take your chances, Real Madrid come back to hurt you. And that's the team they are. And I thought, the way they went out there and played their football, we saw what Southampton did, the Championship playoff final, what Manchester United did in the FA Cup final was very similar like that in the first half. It was sit in deep, counter-attack, break on the opposition. But the difference in those two teams and Dortmund didn't take their chances. And you think with like Nicholas Füllkrug, Jadon Sancho, Karim Adeyemi, you'd at least convert some of these chances. But they weren't able to do that. Let's just jump in the game quickly before we talk about anything else. As I said, the opening proceedings were really exciting. Yeah, it was Real Madrid with a lot of possession, Dortmund looking to break the play up and any moment get the ball going forward. They didn't look to go sideways or hold possession. They looked to go straight away forward, find an out ball and take it to Real Madrid. So it was a really exciting, high-energy start to the game. Wasn't much of that feeling out process which we're used to in cup finals. Valverde was probably the first big chance of the game, but the interplay with Dani Carvajal and Rodrigo, he put his effort curling over the bar and wide. And Julian Brandt probably had the chance at the game to that point in time, as Füllkrug made the smart run in behind, found by Nicholas Schlotterbeck. He cut the ball back to Julian Brandt, who put his effort far of the far post in the 14th minute. That was where the best build-up and the first sign of what Dortmund were going to do. Get the ball and get it going forward straight away. Nicholas Füllkrug spinning in behind, doing what he does best, making those great time runs, and what a pass for Nicholas Schlotterbeck as well. Just unfortunate Brandt couldn't hit the target, but that would be a theme that would continue. Adeyemi, the huge chance. He would run through on goal. I think he was onside clearly as well. 1-on-1 with Courtois, skips past the keeper, but his touch was just too heavy and it forced him really wide. The angle narrowed, and he missed a big opportunity with Dani Carvajal coming back to clean up the mess there. But again, a massive chance for him. Thibaut Courtois still warming into the game. 21st minute, you think you go 1-0 up there, you've got a base, you've got something to build upon, but just wasn't meant to be. And I think about the Karim Adeyemi's, and I probably think a little bit young for the occasion, a little bit tense, probably tensed up there, way too heavy of a touch. If you're a cool, calm, collected player, like probably the Real Madrid players would have been in that situation, it's a little ball roll or a little flick to the side, more of a body feint, and then rolled that ball into the back of the net. He just almost powered it across to the left there. That made sure that the angle was way too tight by the time he got around the keeper. Another big chance missed there. Dortmund again, the 23rd minute. Ian Maatsen won the ball up the pitch. He found Nicholas Füllkrug, and Nicholas Füllkrug outstretching first time effort. And you think, this is the chance that Füllkrug's put away. Think about that PSG game. He converted, I think, into the league where he constantly creates something out of nothing. This was just something out of nothing type moment. An outstretched leg diverted the chance, but onto the upright and outside the net in the 23rd minute. And it was just what else can they possibly do? It was Maatsen winning the ball back. It was Sancho and Sabitzer down the right-hand side. And Adeyemi brought down in the build-up the whole play as well. So it was just constantly attack after attack for Borussia Dortmund in that 20 to 30-minute period mark. Off the beat at about halfway through that first half. I think it's the easiest way to say for Real Madrid. They looked very slow, very sluggish. Again, a lot of possession, but not much with it. A lot of side to side. Dortmund, that low block, working really well. Mats Hummels, the one for me, fantastic in the early moments, as well as Reus, who shut down Vinicius Jr., and even in Maatsen carrying the ball forward, getting them progressing forward, really pivoting in the early moments to take the pressure to Real Madrid and force their players to defend. I think that was a switch up that we didn't expect in that game there, but it definitely worked. Adeyemi, again, 28th minute, he broke. It was denied. He Sancho down the right-hand side, slipped it into Brandt. The angle, once again, tightened again. Adeyemi with a big chance. That was saved quite easily again. In the 35th minute, this is a stat that stood out to me. It was 7 attempts to 2. Real Madrid yet to have an attempt on target. And we just felt like, at halftime it would be a massive team talk. And you thought Dortmund might have to get a goal here before halftime to allow the game to just be in their favour properly. At the end of the day, stats are stats, but when you're up on the scoreboard, that's an whole different affair. You go into halftime, let's have a few more chances, a bit with some long shots and the like. But you go into halftime 0-0, and it felt like a 2-0 lead to Real Madrid because they had just absorbed so much pressure. 8 shots, 3 on target to 0 shots and 2 on target. They had like a third of the passes, basically a third of the possession, but they were dominating the game. They were being compact, they were being narrow. They were forcing Real Madrid to play in front of them, not to break through the line, not to allow Vinicius and Rodrigo and Bellingham those stereotypical runs in behind and space to work with. It was really difficult. And in the first half, Real Madrid were forced to go down the right-hand flank. I don't know if that was an active decision being made, but they weren't using Mendy, they weren't using Vinicius and Rodrigo overloading that near side. It was quite strange. A lot of Fede Valverde action down the right wing-back position, and Carvajal in the first half was the best player by a long way for Real Madrid. Their only real threat going forward, won a lot of corners for the side, pushed up the ground, worked in that little interplay with Valverde. When Rodrigo would drift out wide, he'd work with him as well. But it was interesting to see that the few times they went down the left, they looked really, really good. Veresen got past a few times, Vinicius looking dangerous, but then he went down there twice, only 3 times successfully in the first half. The rest was always down the right. It was really strange. Maybe it was a ploy by Real Madrid, a ploy by Borussia Dortmund to usher the side that way, but Vinicius Junior, the form he was in the knockout, you thought that'd just go to him, but it didn't quite work out that way. As I said, you go into half-time 0-0, it basically felt like a win for Real Madrid. They started the second half much better. Cruz with a free kick early on, forcing a save from Kobel. And you could tell from that moment onwards, they just started to grow into the game. They were the ones sitting in the low block. Now they sat a bit deeper, sacrificed a bit more of the possession, allowed the game to even up terms of possession, but were looking to break Dortmund. So just opposites really in the second half. Dortmund a bit more possession, and Real Madrid looking to pounce on the break, sit in nice and compact. They got Vinicius and Rodrigo to defend. Jude Bellingham came and condensed that midfield alongside Fede Valverde, and looked like, we're going to sit behind the ball here, almost like a 4-5-1 in many regards. Rodrigo or Vinicius either being the furthest forward, depending on who would pressing the back line there. But that's what they basically sat into, a really compact shape. We're not going to let you guys dribble past us or break through us and have time to play these great balls in behind. And then what we're going to do, we're going to win the ball back by sitting in deep and then try and counter-attack you. And that was sort of a bit of chess checkers being played by the both managers there. You saw what it was all going to be about, though. It was really early on, Fulcrum with a massive head in the 63rd minute from a great Adeyemi cross. So Dortmund was still going to break away and cause the odd chance. Courtois once again with a smart save. But then for me, it was sort of that sort of moment, a turning point, came in the 69th minute. It was Vinicius Junior picking the ball up after winning the ball, whipping a ball into the area. Jude Bellingham missed a header, but I thought, that's passages I've seen before. That's Real Madrid. That's winning the ball back, going forward quickly, finding Vinicius, getting a great ball into the area. Jude Bellingham in the box, late into the box, unmarked. He missed the head, obviously, but I'm like, okay, I've seen that. That was what Real Madrid have been about this season. And it clicked in my head, okay, they're back here. They're on here. They've switched on. So the 60-minute onward, you could tell they were into the game, or Cruz getting more touches, Camavinga winning the ball back more aggressively. Danny Carvajal really high up on that right wing-back position there. And I thought, okay, we're seeing them develop here. We're seeing them build. No subs have been made yet, but they're getting into this game here. They're developing. And then it all came down to the 74th minute with Danny Carvajal opened the scoring. A fantastic ball into the box by Toni Kroos. Carvajal basically unmarked, charged towards the front post, flicks his header on, the smallest man on the pitch, heading the ball in the back of the net. But don't get me wrong, he's done this a few times this season. He's been a danger from corners a lot this season. He heads the ball home, 1-0 lead for Real Madrid at the 74th minute mark there. And that basically felt like the game because Dortmund had thrown everything. They were tiring, they were fatiguing a bit. And Real Madrid have absorbed all that pressure and they've thrown it back onto Dortmund. They just couldn't handle it because that whole passage building up to, as I said, the Bellingham chance. It was Camavinga getting more involved. It was more possession in the final third for Real Madrid. And you could just tell the tides were changing, and that goal came and just was the climax of it all. A fantastic whip into the area by the retiring Toni Kroos, a header from the experienced Danny Carvajal, who'd been the best in the park by a long way, probably out of both teams for the whole game until that point. It just was stereotypical Madrid. Really, it was coming, but still you could mainly say out of nothing. If you're really being devil's advocate, you could say out of nothing. There wasn't a clear, easy opportunity to score before that. That was their big chance. They took it. Dortmund missed many big chances. Adeyemi missed 2, Fulkrug missed 1. And until that point, they hadn't really had that dominance. Sabitzer, a long shot. They had all the dominance, but didn't have that attacking dominance or scoreboard dominance. You got Real Madrid not really in control of the game, playing quite poorly. They get the scoreboard dominance from a half chance. That's just what Real Madrid are all about. They then continue to put pressure on them. Bellingham should have scored in the 78th minute. Vinicius kept the ball in, pulled the ball back to Bellingham. A poor first touch that cost him. And Schlotterbeck's deflection put the ball wide of the post. But it wasn't to cause much harm to the team because Camavinga won the ball midfield. Maatsen, who turned the ball over. Vinicius was on the end of Jude Bellingham pouncing that misplaced pass me and Maatsen. Bellingham found Vinicius running into goal. Sort of scuffed his shot, but it found the far corner into the back of the net. And limbs. That was a game. That 83rd minute effort wrapped the game up. Cruise control from then on in. Dortmund thought they had a goal. It was ruled off offside for Nicholas Füllkrug. But that was it. 2-0 win for Real Madrid. And in the end, it was a clinical side. Decided being there and done it, they got it done. And that's sort of why you can't really tip against Real Madrid in these cup finals. They have not lost a Champions League final since it's become the Champions League. Carlo Ancelotti now, I'll talk about him in a bit, but consistently winning in Champions League finals. Vinicius Jr., the king of Champions League finals. He was fantastic second half. Another goal in a Champions League final as well. It's unstoppable, this group, this club. And Cruz said it in full time in a press conference. He was saying, across these last few years, a lot of times we're not the best team. We're probably the worst team. But there's something about Real Madrid where they just find a way to win. No matter what happens, at the end of the game, Real Madrid will be the ones winning that game or holding that trophy up. And that's just the difference in the club. It's not like a mentality. It's not like a real skill or there sort of is a belief difference because they just believe they can win. But no matter how poorly they play, they know they're going to win. It's an expectation sort of thing where everyone wearing that shirt says, we're going to win this game no matter how poorly we've played. I think Carlo Ancelotti said into halftime, there was calmness. They just said, we dodged a bullet, let's go out there and play our style of football. We'll adjust things tactically and we'll go out there and do it again. And that's what they did. They went out there, looked unfazed. Dortmund had put everything into that game. You could tell at the sort of 63rd, 64th minute, they were drained. They were cooked. They put everything they had into try and get into that game. They missed their chances. And when the tools were slightly downed by Borussia Dortmund, the heat was just turned up by Real Madrid and they scored 2 goals in the space of 10 minutes. And that's the difference in a good team and an elite team and a champion team. That's just the real difference in the two sides there. A few players for Borussia Dortmund stood out for me. Mats Hummels, once again, the leading tackler in the Champions League. 4 clearances, 5 tackles, 7 out of the 12 duels won, 96% pass accuracy. In this late in the first half, he stopped Vinicius Jr. He was pumping up to the crowd. I thought, gee, he was up for it. He was fantastic in that game there, especially the first half. Whenever he was called into action, whether it be Vinicius or Rodrigo or Bellingham, he'd come across and close the space. And he was often the one that had to drop into midfield to high press Bellingham because that didn't allow him to have much of possession. Wherever he'd touch it, there'd be someone right on the back of him. Not allowing him to turn, not allowing him time and space. And Mats Hummels was constantly the one going after him. So fair play. Mats Hummels, if it is his last Dortmund game, a fantastic showing and a fantastic Champions League knockout stages. From the round of 16 onwards, he has been unstoppable at the back. And another fantastic game for him here. Surprising Rearson. Really, really impressive for me, especially in that first half there. As I said, Vinicius only had a few runs at him, probably got past him 2 times in the first half. But he was the fullback for me standing out the most, especially defensively. They're not allowing the ball to get to Vinicius. He was holding him up at moments in time. Ferland Mendy wasn't allowed to push on. It was just quite strange. I don't know if it was deliberate from Real Madrid, but Rearson looked like he was stopping everything coming down that flank there. I mean, all the talk's been about Ian Maatsen and the centre halves. Rearson gets sort of chucked under the radar, but his first half and first sort of 50 minutes was fantastic. It was after that when Vinicius sort of kicked into gear and he got crazy with it. But the job to stop a Ballon d'Or potential winner in Vinicius Jr. is hard enough as it is, let alone when he gets that crowd behind him and Real Madrid start playing better football. So a fantastic sort of first 50 to 60 minutes from Rearson really stood out to me and really held himself in some high regard in there in terms of that first 50, 60 minutes, just stopping everything Real Madrid had down that left-hand channel there. And also Adeyemi. Again, not probably the night for him. 5 out of 7 accurate passes, 2 shots, both on target, but missing 2 massive chances. A one-on-one with the keeper, and then in many regards another one-on-one, but the angles are tightening with a poor first touch. It was just not his night. It's a young player that's developing, but in a big occasion, you have to take at least one of those, especially the one-on-one chance. It sort of just ruined it for Borussia. Don't want to throw all the blame on him, but that's a massive chance. In a Champions League final, you have to score a one-on-one chance like that. You can't be taking it so wide like he did. I guess you got Thibaut Courtois in front of you. It is a bit of a menacing target, but you've got to put that in the back of the net. Little skip pass or just shoot first time, get the ball past the keeper, but hit the back of the net. But His pace in behind, exploiting Real Madrid's slightly higher line in the first half. Him and Fulkrug link up so well. They know where each other are. Makes really dynamic runs in behind. Can press up high up the pitch as well. Was doing well pressing as well. Had a complete sort of first 50, 60 minutes there before he got dragged in the 62nd minute for Marco Reus. Yeah, really, really energetic sort of player that was a promise for the side. It got them a bright spark early on, but you need to have that end product, have that finishing product. But you can say that for all the Borussia Dortmund players. But again, a very, very impressive first half for Karim Adeyemi. Coming to Real Madrid now. Same with Thibaut Courtois. 5 games, 5 clean sheets since coming back from injury. Those knee injuries, you'd think, does he have it all what it takes? But you know Thibaut Courtois is going to deliver. It's upsetting that Lunin couldn't be there on the day due to illness, but the 7.5 match rating, apparently a 3 saves. I feel like he made heaps more than that, but commanded the box. Big occasions, always up to the situation. And Champions League finals, I don't think I want any other keeper in the world outside of Thibaut Courtois. He knows how to read these moments. A massive clean sheet to be kept, especially how good Borussia Dortmund were in that game there. He was fantastic in that, a leader. It's just calmness when he's in goal as well. And those big moments, he's always there. He's a big guy, feels the goal. I said a lot, he feels the goal. It's really a hard target to go up against. That's why probably Adeyemi tries to skip around him. You look up, you see Courtois, you think, where am I going to shoot? Because the guy just makes these massive saves. He's a long, big character and such a great keeper. To come back 5 games, all 5 clean sheets, fantastic in the league, fantastic in a Champions League final nonetheless. Just goes to show the character he is and the quality he is, and I'm so surprised he's not in a Euro squad. Another player to look at for Real Mendy, fantastic in this game. 2 clearances, 3 tackles, 1 interception, won 6 out of his 7 ground duels, 66 touches, and 100% pass accuracy. Second half, it was more left-hand side oriented. But I was surprised they didn't get more going down the left in the first half there, because Real Mendy had a great game, not only defensively, but when he got in the ball, making the smart decisions, playing the right passes, and really being strong. I think it was Adeyemi, he just bullied off side to side, put him to the floor. His strength, his pace is second to none. You forget about him because you got the experienced Danny Carvajal, the exuberant Rudiger, you've got Eden Militao, you've got David Alaba. But you never really talk about Ferland Mendy, and it's always, it's Alphonso Davies during next season. But Ferland Mendy does a great job. Still that same sort of pacey player, a very strong player, comfortable with the ball with his feet. And when he got progressing the ball forward and passing forward and getting Real Madrid going in that positive direction, you saw the effect it had. It made them a much more exciting team, make him a more dangerous team, and he was just fantastic. Did not make a mistake at all in that game there, and contributed to that great clean sheet from the back 4 there. Another one who was key in this game was Danny Carvajal, probably man of the match for me. I think he won man of the match, 8.5 match rating on SofaScore. Obviously the opening goal, the massive goal, 73 touches, 82% pass accuracy, 2 out of his 3 aerial duels won as well. Small in stature, but large in heart, or large in intent. He went for the header. He's done this a few times in the league, got up and risen for a header for a good set piece and nods the ball home to the back of the net. Fantastic performance for him. As I said, probably the best player across 90 minutes. Was their best player in the first half in terms of getting them going forward down that right-hand channel there. He was constantly the one they were looking towards. Fede Valverde and him playing little 1-2s, linking up with Rodrigo, putting balls into the area, being dangerous, creating corners out of nothing. He's that sort of player as a leader. He made a few rush challenges and mistakes, but that's who he is, right? He'll cover for that. He might get a yellow card, but he'll not make mistakes going forward. He's always a leader in that pitch, and he might not have the captain's armband anymore, but he just felt like he is the captain on this side. He knows the right decisions to make. And when you have a player like Danny Carvajal on the pitch, you can't go wrong. He just knows what to do. He's been in his big moments. That's a 6th Champions League for him. He's just unstoppable. And I feel like in this game here, all that experience came to show because both teams are struggling. There's a few younger players on both sides. But who was the player consistently performing? Who was the one consistently getting Real Madrid going forward and doing all good things for them? It was Danny Carvajal. That's the player he is. And that's the package you get with such a superstar like him. Vinny Jr. once again, another final goal, the second one, and a second one in the final win. Game-sealing goal, 7.9 match rating, 8 out of 3 dribble attempts, successful, 12 out of 20 ground duels won. He scored now 4 goals and 2 assists in the knockout stage. I think he only played 7 out of those knockout stage games, something like that. It was fantastic. I think 7 or 6 games, and he's got those goal contributions. He's a knockout stage specialist. You cannot stop the guy, and it was just fitting that he scored that game-sealing goal because I feel like now he is the Ballon d'Or favourite. He put up a fantastic performance in this game. As I said, they didn't go to him much in the first half, but when they did, he was positive. He got the Real Madrid fans up and about. He was skipping past Reus, and he was the difference maker, I feel like. Camavinga in midfield winning the ball back, Danny Carvajal's aggression going forward, and Vinicius' ability just to create things out of nothing in the final third, then the second half. From the 65th minute onwards, he was the guy leading that side going forward. And just once again, in the final, there's not many players like Vinicius will continue to keep driving forward, continue to pressure the back line, and gets the results with a massive goal here. He's just so exciting to watch, so entertaining, and never drops his head, always a smile on his face. And you can tell he kept going this Borussia Dortmund back line. And when Real Madrid dropped into that more defensive situation, he was helping out defensively. Him and Rodrigo were dropping in at times and supporting the midfield and being more defensively compact. They were really, really tight. They didn't allow much space for Dortmund to operate. And then when they won the ball back, his ability to run in behind, to create chances, to run out defenders, that's what the Vinicius we're all here to see, and that's what we're so used to. So a fantastic performance. Could equally be man of the match. And then finally, Toni Kroos retiring on a win like that. Fantastic. First half probably wasn't his half, but he grew into the game as it went on. The 8.2 match rate and that fantastic assist from the corner. 108 touches of the football, 97 pass accuracy, 4 key passes, 2 out of 3 ground duels won, 1 clearance, 2 tackles, only dribble pass once. That's the player you've got, and that's the player that's somehow retiring. He is still an elite level player. He's used 108 times, 108 touches of the football. They use him. They get the ball going through him. They have faith in Toni Kroos to find the right pass, to lead this side to victory. He's so cool, calm and collected in the midfield. And whenever it is, you think that Dortmund are on top, he's still there to cover. He's still there to make the right decisions. That's what vintage, that's what history does. 6 Champions League titles for him as well. It's just fantastic. These players, it's sort of sad for myself because I sort of grew up, seeing these guys as the younger players coming through. Now they're all retiring. But Toni Kroos is one of those players I've always loved. I always say him and Modric for me are my 2 favourite midfielders of all time. They are just fantastic. I think they're the way they can control games in this game here, the way he sees the game, the way he can make those great first-time passes, the assist from the corner, fantastic pinpoint cross into the box. You cannot replicate these super players. Another just fantastic performance. From minute 1 to minute 90, never put a foot wrong. Yes, he might have been a little bit slow and being bypassed a bit in the first half, but when Madrid had the football, who did they look to first? They looked at Dani Carvajal, but they looked at Toni Kroos first. He's the guy they go to first. The ball comes through him, they play through him. 97% pass actually does not miss a pass either. You can trust in him. He's trustworthy. He's always there for you. And this game here doesn't do anything wrong defensively or going forward. It's just the most complete sort of 6-8 performance you've got. You can play in the 6, you can be more defensive in his older age, a bit more as an 8 now. But name something more complete than that. Everyone talks about Rodri and Rice, and they all rave about him. But what does Toni Kroos do differently that those guys don't do? He probably does more than them. It's fantastic what he's done. Another great game for him, and probably my man of the match just because of my connection to him, and it's so sad that he's now retiring from club football and then international football after the Euros. Brings to the end now, and brings me to Carlo Ancelotti. This guy is a Serie A winner. 5 Champions League final wins, been there 6 times in a manager, only lost 1 final. He is just a Serie A winner. You cannot not like Don Carlo. He owns the moment. He's cool, calm and collected. He said as well in the interview, we didn't go in at half-time nervous or worried or stressed. Adjusted a few things and we came out in the second half and we did that. In-game management once again. There's not many managers that can in-game manage like Ancelotti. First half, outplayed, outworked. Fair enough. They changed it. Said, we're not going to play much in possession. We're going to allow you to have the ball. We're going to sit in compactly and we're going to use the counter-attack. We're going to use the pace of our forwards and the skill of our one-time passes and our vision in midfield to try and beat you. And it worked. He reads moments, and the ability to lead this side, it's underrated. The way he can coach, lead, govern his players, and he earned so much respect. The players respect him so much. The way they gave him the trophy, chairlifted him at full time. These players absolutely love this manager. I mean, you've got so many, I guess you could say, egos in a way. You've got the likes of Vinicius Jr., Bellingham, Rodrigo, the likes of Nacho and Carvajal and Courtois, all these elite level players. I'm not saying they do have an ego, but they're going to carry that sort of expectation, that ego, because they're elite level players. And the fact they all look up to him. They do not question him, they do not undermine him, they all respect him and they play for him. That's just another feather in his cap, because it's fantastic. Seeing Pochettino struggle at PSG, every manager at PSG has struggled with those big players and underperforming. Xavi, most recent, probably not the biggest players in recent year, but this year struggled to get the same performance out of his players at Barcelona. But Ancelotti at Real Madrid has never not got the performance out of his players. They forgot that they missed the Champions League for 1 season and they're back in the final winning it again. 2 in 3 years. it is fantastic. He's done it with 2 different eras of squads as well. He's developed this young squad that has to go under the radar as well. The way he's transitioned from the Bale, Benzema, Ronaldo to now this sort of Vinicius, Rodrigo, Bellingham type structure. No more Pepe and Ramos. Now you've got this sort of different group at the back with Nacho, with Rudiger, Mendy. A little bit differences from the initial side against Liverpool. We won a few years back. No Casemiro there anymore. Like, the way he just slowly adds a few pieces in, develops his side now with Endrick and Mbappe coming as well. There's no better manager to manage Real Madrid than Carlo Ancelotti. It's just a serial winner. Game management, control from minute 1 to 9, never stresses. The eyebrow merchant comes out again, and he's just fantastic to watch. And it's just so hard to dislike this Real Madrid side because of Ancelotti, because of the likes of Bellingham and Vinicius and Courtois scoring goal, and the likes of Dani Carvajal who continue to just prove Father Time's wrong, and Toni Kroos and Modric in midfield. It's a lovable side. You cannot hate this side at all. And what a way for Toni Kroos to go out. What a way for the players like Nacho to lift that trophy the first time playing a full 90 minutes in a final. You've got now 6 titles for Kroos, for Modric, for who else we got here? Carvajal, Nacho Fernandez as well. Like, fantastic. Just purely superstars of the game. And Luka Modric and Toni Kroos, if any people deserve 6 Champions Leagues, it's those 2 there for me. I love those 2 players. And Dani Carvajal as well, just a serial winner. It's just fantastic. That brings it to an end. That's the club season all wrapped up. Went for a little bit longer than I hoped for, but absolutely loved the game last night. One of the most entertaining Champions League finals we've had in some time, but it delivered on that, and a great 2-0 win for Real Madrid. Make it Champions League 15 for the side now, and yet to lose in a Champions League final across their last 7 appearances. Just fantastic for the side. Biggest club in the world for a reason. They are just juggernauts. They cannot be stopped. No matter how much ahead of the game you possibly are, as Dortmund found out in this game here, you're never really ahead versus Real Madrid, because they'll find a way to beat you, and they'll beat you in some manner or some fashion. With all being said, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the game last night. Let me know your thoughts of the game, your man of the match, your star players in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, guys, if you enjoyed it, smash a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and press that post notification bell so you know we upload our next video or podcast. I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'll see you back for the Euros content coming out very, very soon. Until then, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the upcoming weeks. And I'll see you guys in the video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.